If you're looking to substantiate something of this magnitude and importance, I took what Professor Weinberg of Simon Fraser University said very seriously. If you really want to do this, duplicate it. Get it in every lighting condition. Get it under every circumstance. Get it in every circumstance you can. And the one that made me happiest, funny enough, was almost the last flights I recorded, because I got it in black and white. There was a CCD camera put on one of the flights, and I thought that's the charge coupling device, which is an electronic way rather than the old tubes, these big tubes that are slower on their scans. So as soon as the faster scanning and tube CCD was on the black and white, I challenged myself again. You should be able to find them, and I did. So I've got them in black and white, but I've got them under, and I know which camera. I now know where to look for them. I know what events. When in STS-80, when the door wouldn't open, you know, they had the spacewalk scheduled, and the door wouldn't open. I remember watching that and seeing all of this third phenomena, this second space phenomena, but the third phenomena, all around the door. And they were moving the door and trying to get it open. And I'd never seen this phenomena do that before. And then a flight or two later, the astronauts were commenting right on the feed that there was something had come through the door. They were seeing these flashing colored lights.
Oh, that flash. That light flashing off of the HST. I thought it was me. What? I just thought of it in my imagination. Yeah, I saw it too, so it's not. There was two of them. There's another one. What are those? Some sort of lights flickering in here. Maybe they're taking pictures. What is this? Passing in front of us. What are the lights? This one. I was guessing that one for a second, but I had that one for the whole time. Yeah, I was looking at that one too.
The spherical phenomena we've documented and is very solid. Isn't the type that would go in there, float around, and them say it's going really fast, we can't see it, and it's all these popping colored lights. That was the first time I got some kind of a feel that the astronauts have seen from phenomena 3, the second space phenomena. It's something that should be this challenging. I don't know why most people think something this different is just going to be nuts and bolts, 30 feet across, nice big friendly gray aliens come out, recognize themselves in all the ads that have been appearing in car companies, turn on the TV and watch the new Roswell series, visit the X-Files. You know what I'm saying is that this phenomena is not what I expected to find, this third phenomena. But they seem, I believe they use the same operating principle, because some of the spherical second phenomena, which I still emphasize is our main documentation, can move away at rapid speeds, as the video shows you.
Do you believe the two phenomena are connected?
Yes, somehow. I think, well, they're very aware of each other. Somebody suggested to me, what if they're the same phenomena? But I've studied them extensively, and the spherical phenomena has different characteristics to it, kind of a, let's just put it at that, leave it at that. They're not in color. This is a totally different phenomena. This one never goes at real speed. It's as if something comes up to your nose and in 1/30th of a second has a tour, like an iceberg or something, or either, you know, a glacier, and then leaves.
Without us even
aware of it. And if it chooses, for whatever reason, to look at something, it tends to slow down. And that's why I believe it appears when there's a $100 million satellite disrupting the air. It appears when the Hubble Space Telescope is being repaired. It appears whenever something is happening. It's an amazing phenomena, and what I like about it is these aren't ice crystals. There's nobody in science in Canada that I've ever met, and David Sarita, my partner in terms of the research end, not a partner, and let's just say he's as interested as I am, and he volunteered to take on that role. Nobody said to him that what this is. Nobody suggested anything except that it must be what it is, but they don't know where to go with it. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to react. It's easier if you can sort of argue that may or may not be something. But one enough, not the digital model, that literally when you rolled the thing, it would break the frames into fields. And in reality, there are 60 individual pictures that make up 1 second of video. And that's when I found them.
So you were finding these on one of those 60 frames?
I found, in fact, the first one I found, I only found one.
Right.
And then I thought, well, I should be able to, if this is real, I should be able to do it again. And then I found 2. And it just went from there.
What should we really be seeing? How did you know that we were looking at something that was that shouldn't be there, that was unusual? I mean,
well, the first thing is that in my career, usually in 1 second of video, no movement happens. You can look at 60 frames and, you know, the way the movement goes, not very much happens. It's not like those flip things where the little thing moves when you flip the pages. Literally in 60 of those, nothing happens. Something was happening literally between 1/30th of a second and 1/30th of a second, because there's 30 frames per second. So it was just sort of a, let's look at this, and when I found it was in a scan field, and then the way it works is it scans and scans very fast. But the phenomena seemed to have disappeared by the second scan.
So it was moving very fast.
Very fast. So being a manager and being in charge of a television station, part of my staff is a technical staff. So I started consulting our technicians on to destroy my discovery. I wanted them to tell me that they could.
You wanted to critique it as heavily as you could.
I wanted them to tell me this somebody could fake this. You can't. Then I took the sample, to make a long story short, eventually made it up to the scientific community and to a think tank and a behavioral lab and physicists and astrophysicists. And they kind of, you know, they just humored me at the start. By the end of our meetings, they had their hands on the control. They were running up to the screen, and they were holding meetings. They broke the entire pixelization process down and found it was still there.
So they really didn't expect to see anything in the beginning, but by the time you finished, they were excited.
I think they expected probably that we'd have more of a real-time phenomena, which is still spectacular.
And probably, I guess, that they felt they might be able to explain to you as something perfectly legitimate or normal for...
Well, you never know who's in the Skeptic Society of British Columbia. For instance, the X-Files actor William Davis, who is the cigarette-smoking man in the X-Files, is a member of the Skeptic Society. So I never knew with these scientists what they were trying to do to me.
Sure.
But the amazing thing about this other phenomena, the one that's virtually, I would say it's invisible, although it isn't once you see it. You begin to see it all the time. Is it blew their minds. It blew their minds.
Did they offer any explanation for what they thought it might be? Or are they as baffled?
There's a professor at Simon Fraser, Professor Weinberg, who literally said it had to be it had to be actually there, doing exactly what it was, but he could not. He said we we would have to go right to NASA. And eventually, we had a lecture at the planetarium here in Vancouver by one of the Hubble poobahs, the chief Hubble designers, engineers.
That must have been a great opportunity.
It was a great opportunity, and what was interesting is when we showed him the spherical shapes on video clips, on video stills, he was comfortable, which meant, he could throw the ice crystal theory, because it was a very small sample at that point. It was only the first time I'd ever done it.
At that point, he confirmed that what you were showing him were ice crystals, or...?
No, he just thought that was basically...
He accepted that it was a phenomena of some sort.
He just... Well, they're comfortable at NASA because James Oberg, who's the NASA debunker, in my estimation, had basically briefed them all that don't worry about all this stuff you see, because that's just all kinds of stuff you don't understand about ice crystals. He didn't have any, it was the Hubble fellow at the planetarium after the lecture with the head of the planetarium. He sat there comfortable, but when the still frames of this second phenomena were shown to him, he stormed out of the room.
Did he say anything? Did he give any reason?
He made some huffs and puffs and stormed out of the room. Now we found, that's very unusual kind of reversal, and we obtained, meaning an artist friend and I, who's got more guts than me, I guess, in terms of walking through front doors, which you're not supposed to. He picked up the phone after he got the number and phoned this fella. And he got hello, and the second he said who he was, there was back talk, things like, it's that guy, blah, 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 and the phone went down. In other words, communication was cut off.
Not a very good public relations exercise for the...
No, but we found it odd that, these are okay and these aren't. So anyway, that's how it started. So Professor Weinberg, who's a wonderful man, said to me something he's never said to anybody before. He actually sat down, sort of rolled his hands through his head and whatever hair he had, and said, I believe there are things out there, and it's just a matter of an et cetera, et cetera.